Gobert and just like all these traditional centers, Joel Embiid, Jokic, just the way they dominate so many different aspects of the game. And that's just something I'm trying to do. It's all the little things, whether it's defense, protecting the rim, finishing around the rim, being able to step out to shoot the three, passing, which I love to do, just space the floor. It's just, it's nice to see, like all those big guys who are 7 foot, 7'1", 7'2", just succeeding at a high level and having such a big impact. It's exciting.
I can tell you that they lie when they never mean it. True love come from God in the name of Jesus. Turn right back on the king, I committed treason. Thank God he forgives, now his name I'm preaching, screaming Jesus.
What's up, YouTube? You're Inside the Edge, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Continue to subscribe to the channel. I got you guys covered with a lot of Summer League highlights. Obviously, the NBA draft is around the corner, so I will continue doing a lot more drafty videos right before the draft. I probably should have did this video a lot sooner. Today, I want to talk about Donovan Clingan. This guy's from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut, so this hits close to home for me. This kid is from Bristol Central, right around, a few miles from here, from where I live. And just to see this guy be a Connecticut native and to, go to UConn, like he lived the dream, guys. And looking at his 2 runs and with the Huskies, I mean, it's unbelievable, guys. Back-to-back champion, Donovan Clingan coming in as a role player, as a bench player in his first season behind Sonogo. And just to see him take on that leadership role in this second, back-to-back championship, you can just see the growth in Donovan Clingan, guys. And that's who I want to get into today. Today I want to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies as a team to pursue Donovan Clingan in this draft. Now, I understand that the Memphis Grizzlies have the 9th pick, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky to see if Donovan will fall at 9, because you do see that Atlanta has the first overall pick. You have Washington at 2nd. You have the Rockets with the 3rd pick. You got San Antonio at 4th, Detroit at 5th. You have Charlotte at 6th, Portland at 7. You got San Antonio at 8th, and then you have the Grizzlies at the 9th pick. So it's looking like the Grizzlies, if they have a fair shot at Donovan Clingan, they might have to trade up in this draft. And it's worth it, guys, and I'll get right into it. And just looking at just some of the research that I've been researching, because, again, I've even been seeing that Donovan Clingan could even be a first overall pick. And I'm just like, wow, like there's a lot that's surfacing around Donovan Clingan, guys. And just looking at the Bleacher Report, looking at Michael Scotto from Hoop Hype, he's been talking about how the Grizzlies is going to land Donovan Clingan at 9. But, he's an expert, Scotty. I've been following him for a while when it comes to the mock drafts. But even just looking at his board, he has Donovan Clingan going to Charlotte at 6. So, again, Donovan Clingan is a special, special talent. And we're starting to see a lot of teams starting to look in his direction. Looking at the NBA Finals, looking at Derek Lively, looking at these big shot blockers, these paint present, caliber players. That's where the league is operating at, where if you want to stop superstars in the playoffs, you have to have bigs. You have to have someone, you have to have a rim protector. You got to have that defensive anchor to win championships. And I think Donovan Clingan can be a huge part in a championship run for any team in the NBA in the future. But let's just get into Donovan Clingan. Just looking at what he did at UConn in his final season, he played 35 games. He played 22.6 minutes. His field goal percentage was pretty stellar, looking at 63.9%. You look at his blocks, 2.5 blocks this season. I thought that was the most eye-popping thing. And he just averaged 13 points per game. This was pretty much one of these seasons for Donovan Clingan where he became more of a leader role. If I had to point out his last season at UConn, was just his leadership, the way he can pass the ball, swing the ball, find guys wide open. I mean, Donovan Clingan is a special caliber center. He's not just one of these old school centers that's, plays back to the basket, rebound, and that's it. Donovan Clingan, this guy is just a facilitator. Now, just to talk about, the Memphis Grizzlies and just looking at this team, Donovan Clingan makes a lot of sense joining this Grizzlies team. You look at Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark, they give this team solid options on the front court, but adding a true center to complement Ja Morant is on top of the key. That's going to definitely be the evolution of this Grizzlies team. We all know that Ja Morant, this is his team, the scoring, the offense runs by him. And when you look at Donovan Clingan, the way he can, set himself up in a pick and pop looking at how he can, swing the ball, find guys in the open court. With Ja Morant, we all know that he loves to play, pick and roll action. We know how he loves to go down south. He's just a north-south kind of driver. He likes to just drive to the rim through screens. He likes those mismatches, and that's exactly what Donovan Clingan can create for this Grizzlies offense. Ja Morant, he loves penetrating to the rim, and when you have a guy like Clingan that can set solid screens, that's going to give a lot of mismatch opportunities for Ja Morant to be who he is, because that's pretty much Ja Morant's game. As much as he can shoot the ball really well, but he loves slashing to the lane, and you need a big that can set those screens up for you. When you look at Donovan Clingan, he can move 4s and 5s out the paint. He can facilitate at the high post. He can facilitate at the elbow. And that's his biggest strength. If you had to ask me about Donovan Clingan, his defensive ability is really great. Obviously, being listed at 7 feet tall, he can contest any shot. Blocking shots, that's something that's going to come with his game. But the most important thing I would say about, Donovan Clingan is just what he does with facilitating guys, the way he can find shooters. I think that's what's going to be so good for this Grizzlies team moving forward. When you have Baines, guys like that, Donovan Clingan, he's a guy that can just facilitate. He's not a guy that is just one-dimensional, and I think he can be a really good formula to Ja Morant with this pick-and-roll action. Even when you look at Adams, the years he was given to Memphis, he's helped Ja Morant elevate his game, and I think, Donovan Clingan can do the same thing. He's not much of a three-point shooter, but through time, I feel like he can develop that three-point shot through time. But looking at where Donovan Clingan is at now, looking at his combine, his lateral quickness looks good, his speed looks good, his footwork looks good, and just hearing his interview, the main thing that he talked about, and I guess this is me just getting into his weaknesses, is his conditioning was not so good in college. He couldn't really finish out games the way he's wanted to. He's noticed that, playing in this UConn system is fast-paced, and, he understood that he had to get faster. He had to be able to, run the floor, run the court. And I think his experience with Dan Hurley has taught him, how to run the offense, how to play unselfish, how to play team basketball, all of the things that it takes to be an NBA player. And I think Donovan Clingan, he has come to that realization where I think I think he can complement Ja Morant, where we're going to see a lot of offense being created by them two. And I think he would be a perfect fit for the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies should definitely trade up. Like I said, my guy Michael, he writes a lot of reports on the Bleacher Report, and I think a lot of teams will trade up for Donovan. And I think that if the Grizzlies were smart, I think they should be one of those teams to also trade down to get Donovan Clingan, because on the boards, guys, it's looking like Charlotte could be that team. But at the same time, the Grizzlies team, looking at Ja Morant, I think this will complement him the best. So with that being said, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. I want to make this video short as possible, but I hope that, you guys are continuing looking at this draft and looking at other players. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. How do you guys feel about Donovan Clingan? Where do you think he will land? Will he be the number 1 overall pick? I mean, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of reports on that. So with that being said, I hope everyone's having a good day. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you guys in my next video. Be sure to subscribe, guys. It helps my channel grow. Love you all. Have a good day. Peace.
I can tell you that they love you when they never mean it. True love come from God in the name of Jesus. Turn my back on the king, I committed treason. Thank God he forgives, and his name I'm preaching, screaming Jesus.